Good evening all. Video 3 of the day. We are back on Rugby Union. We're back on tour discussing the Lions. So, what was it, Saturday midday-ish, late morning, 11 o'clock kickoff, wasn't it? So the dust hath settled. We are, a couple of days, 48 hours plus, 50 odd, since the final whistle when the Wallaby number 8, Wilson, is it? I do admit my Wallaby knowledge of the current side isn't great. When he booted the ball into touch in the in the goal area, calling time. Great result. First test in the bag. Boom, 1-0 up in the series. Huge. The Wallabies now have to win the next game. The Lions do not. We could have a situation similar to 12 years prior, when the Lions have a bit of a clunky, unimpressive performance in that second test, but then turn up in the third, in the decider, and bounce the Wallabies off the park. Overall thoughts on the game. I thought the first half, or the first 50 minutes, 55 maybe, the Lions were excellent. Dominant up front, dominant physically. They just looked on a different level. And I'm not saying it was like the All Blacks playing, I don't know, Ealing Trailfinders or something like that. But it was clear who was the better side. There's no doubt about that. Gibson, Park and Russell were imperious. The Lions forwards, as I've said, were unbelievable. Particularly two guys who had a little bit of stick for their selection, or whose selection was questioned. One definitely more than the other. But Tyburn was excellent at number 6. Now, watching this series so far, obviously I've seen him play for Ireland. Obviously he played for the Lions in 21 in South Africa. And I didn't think this tour he's been great, well, up to his usual standards, but he came to play Saturday night. Big time. Big match player. The phrase I've heard coined so much on social media, YouTube, Sky Sports, Talk Sport, every rugby channel going, to describe players like him, like James Lowe, is test match animal. And that was a test match animal performance. He was huge. Tom Curry, wow. Talk about silencing the critics. What a mammoth performance that was. Just your perfect back row performance. Engine, drive, line speed, massive tackles, big physicality, made the odd break, just dominant in the tackle, strong in the carry, scored his try, and was just a fucking machine all game, all over the park. At times it reminded me of, he's a completely different back row forward, don't get me wrong, but it reminded me of the great Richie McGaw, my favourite 7 ever, closely followed by David Pocock. But it was McCaw-esque in terms of he was just everywhere, involved in everything. Brilliant, fantastic performance by Tom Curry. Finn Russell and Gibson Park ran the show. Finn Russell, goal kicking, excellent. That one he nailed for Sheehan's try, that was sweet strike from the right footer over to the left, straight through. He just looked composed. Finn Russell looked like he had, I've got so many analogies going through my mind, but anyone who likes football watching this, anyone who's a bit of a football nerd like myself, wind the clock back to the 06-07 season. I'm going off piece there, but it's relevant. Watching Real Madrid 06-07 season, the season they finally won the league, with Fabio Capello, when Beckham got in all that controversy, signed for Galaxy and all that malarkey. They had a Spanish midfielder, attacking midfielder, Guti, Guti Hernandez, number 14, who played for Real Madrid for years. He started off, from what I can tell, as a striker back in there, sort of late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously, he was behind Raul, Morientes, Ronaldo, and became an attacking midfielder. But anyway, the link between him and Finn Russell is Guti, at several times during the season, looked like he had so much time on the ball. It was almost like the game stood still for him. Finn Russell, the same. At times, you look back at it, he's having half a second, 1.5 seconds to make decisions. But because of his poise, his confidence, his technique, his decision making, he's making these decisions, these quick decisions, but it looks like he's got all the time in the world. All the time. It was almost like flow state. Finn Russell was in a flow state, and not in a flow state like, to keep this Lions relevant, not like Dan Carter back in 2005 in that second test, the best 10 performance you'll ever see, particularly in terms of his running game, but in terms of his control was just excellent. Unbelievable. The scrum went well, I thought. Wasn't perfect, but went well. The line-out was good. Marrow was great. Joe McCarthy was great. Conan, I've heard some people say he was unbelievable. Some people say he was all right. I thought he was great. Jack Conan. His stats, unbelievable. Tackles, carries, hard yards. This is a great number 8 performance. The wingers, Lowe and Freeman, not their best games ever, but I don't think either of them did anything that warrants being dropped. Hugo Keenan was good. The Scottish pairing were excellent. Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones, fantastic. I don't think, barring a mammoth performance from Aki, Ringrose, or Farrell, when they play tomorrow, I don't see either of those two being dropped. Fantastic. Guys off the bench probably didn't give the impetus that Andy Farrell wanted, but it was great. Wallabies came back in the last third of the game, didn't they? I think the game was won quite early on. As soon as Finn Russell nails that kick from the Sheehan try, it's over from there on in, really. And the Lions dropped their level, knew the game was won, and the Wallabies picked up. Hopefully that won't happen again. I don't think it will, because it's all or nothing. I say it's all or nothing. It's not. Because if the Lions do lose, they've got another chance. Or if they draw, they've got another chance the following weekend. But they can wrap up the series 2-0 this Saturday. And so I do not see their levels dropping. Selection-wise, I think it's going to be mostly the same. I think Joe McCarthy, he got a bit of an injury, so you could see Tyke Byrne shift into the row and Chesham come in at 6. You could see Chesham go in the second row and Ty Byrne retain his position at blindside. I don't think you see a situation where Ty Byrne drops to the bench, because we don't have many natural 6s, do we? Plenty of 7s, plenty of open sides. I think Jack Morgan, Josh van der Fleer, Henry Pollock. I like Henry Pollock at 8 personally, but he has the dynamism of a 7. Tom Curry's more of a 7. Tom Curry's a fantastic 6 and has been alongside Sam Underhill for England at 7. So you could stick Byrne in the row, bring Tom Curry to blindside, and then you've got Pollock, Morgan, van der Fleer for that, fighting for that 7 jersey. Interesting stuff. The Wallabies, their replacement 9 came on and did well. I think Tom Liner had a tough game, but it was a big ask. First start for the Wallabies in a test series against the Lions, playing opposite one of the best 10s in the fucking world at the minute. It was a huge ask for Tom Liner. Donaldson come on, did a little bit better, but did that just coincide with the Lions' intensity dropping? Don't know. I'd love to see James O'Connor get a start or be involved, because what a story that is, the experience he got a lot of stick in that Test series in 2013 for missed kicks, particularly in the first Test. But he scored a great try in the second. I believe it was the second Test. Curtly Beale playing against the Lions tomorrow. I thought he was older than he was. I had a look earlier. He's 36. That would have made him 24 in 2013. I thought he was late 20s then. Anyway, so yeah, selection. What? Hopefully we see a good performance tomorrow. I can't see anything other than a Lions victory. I think it could be the same story as the AUNZ game. You've got guys who've been chucked together. There's some big names. Don't get me wrong. I was hoping to see Michael Hooper play, but he's ruled himself out. Fair enough. But Curtly Beale starting at 10. That'd be interesting. But yeah, the team that's been picked looks strong. Definitely strong enough. You've got guys in there who you think, unless they have the game of their lives, it's probably the last time they wear the jersey on this tour. Like Pierre Schumann, for example. He's got 2 unbelievable loose heads in front of him, isn't he? In Ellis Genge and Andrew Porter. Finn Smith. It's unlike, he's probably, given the fact that Marcus Smith came on and did well taking over Finn Russell, you've got to probably say that Finn Smith is battling Owen Farrell for the 3rd choice 10 now. I know Farrell can play 12 as well, but I think Marcus Smith has improved as the tour's gone on. He's never going to start ahead of Finn Russell, not unless Finn Russell's leg has fallen off. But I think Marcus Smith could do bits at 10 in the Test series going forward. Pollock starting. We got 3 7s starting tomorrow. Morgan, Van der Fleer and Pollock. Interesting to see how they go together. Van der Fleer is a class operator, but I've not seen the World Player of the Year from 2022 or whenever it was so far on this tour. Pollock's had moments. Pollock's got a lot of criticism in certain games for being like all show, no go. But the guy's 20 years old, for Christ's sake. He's got 1 cap for England. He's played more for the Lions than England, you know, albeit not in the Test series as such. But that's another thing I'm going to comment on before I wrap up. England, the Lions. A lot of people on Sky, on the radio, socials, have been a little bit negative about how it's gone in that first Test, which I find bizarre because, yeah, they did drop the levels. No, they weren't fantastic. It wasn't the best performance you've ever seen. However, if that was a World Cup quarter-final for England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, France, whoever, and you knocked out a big name opponent like Australia, no one's moaning. No one's gone on about the performance. It's all about the result. So yeah, maybe because the Wallabies are such underdogs and the Lions are such favourites, people are expecting the Lions at 50 on them every time they play them. And don't get me wrong, that could have been the case because there were some missed opportunities, but they won the first Test. It's 1-0 in the Test series. That is all that matters. No one's going to give a shit about the performance of the first Test if they do the business this weekend and win the series early. No one's going to give the monkeys. So there we go. Up the Lions. Thank you for watching.